Welcome back, everybody. My name is Tucker. This is Sporting Logically, and as I'm recording this, the 2018 NBA draft just finished up, and what a night it was. There were trades, there were surprises, there were so many things that ended up happening that I really didn't anticipate, but in the end, there were certainly some teams and prospects that made it out in better shape than others. So here are my 4 biggest winners of the 2018 NBA draft. Number 1, the Phoenix Suns. If you've been watching my draft content up to this point, it might be a bit surprising to see the Suns on this list because I really wasn't a big fan of selecting DeAndre Ayton with the first overall pick, but it's what they did later that really caught my eye. Apparently, as the Suns were about to put in their selection of Dante DiVincenzo with the 16th pick, the Sixers offered them Mikal Bridges, who they'd picked 10th overall, for the rights to select Zaire Smith at 16 and a future first via the Miami Heat. With Josh Jackson, TJ Warren, Devin Booker, and now Bridges, the team has built a great perimeter group to build around moving forward. And if they can get some of their other bigs that they've drafted in recent years to develop along with Ayton, then they'll have done a great job of getting value out of all of the losses they've piled up in recent seasons. Obviously, Smith could turn out to be a great player, and they do give up a future first, but if you told me before the draft that the Suns would end up with both Ayton and Bridges, I would have been shocked, and that makes them a huge winner tonight. Number 2, the Dallas Mavericks and Luka Doncic. The first big move of the night is also where my second winner comes from, as the Hawks and Mavericks swap picks, and as a result, the Mavs ended up with the best prospect in the draft in my opinion, and Doncic ended up in a great situation for his own development. This one came out of nowhere for me because I'd assumed that the Mavs would be trying to draft one of the talented big men at the top of the draft rankings, but this ended up being a fantastic move for them. The backcourt of Dennis Smith Jr. and Doncic is going to be an exciting one to watch develop over the next few years, and if the team can bring in an inside presence to complement Harrison Barnes and Dirk Nowitzki, they could be looking at a great present and future. Not only that, but I personally trust the Dallas Mavericks player development program more than any other team in the top 5 of this draft, providing an outstanding situation for Doncic to learn and grow in what will likely be a challenging transition to the NBA game at first. There won't be a ton of pressure on him to do it all right from the jump with Smith Jr. there, but at the same time there will be plenty of freedom to learn from his own mistakes as well. I never anticipated this prospect and team joining together, but in the end I think it was a great move for both sides. Number 3, the Denver Nuggets. When I did my own personal mock draft, the biggest need I saw the Nuggets trying to fill with the 14th pick was on the wing, simply because they have talented guards and bigs, but lack any kind of perimeter size to round out the starting 5. The problem was it looked like all of the lottery quality wings would be taken before it came time for them to select a prospect with the 14th pick, so I had them going with a bigger guard like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander instead. Well, it turns out that one of the highest upside players in the draft and one of the better wings in this class as well, Michael Porter Jr., ended up falling all the way to them. This was another scenario that I never really imagined, simply because everything I'd seen and read said that Porter Jr. was not going to get past either Cleveland or New York. But in the end, I guess the injury issues were enough to scare off the first 13 teams enough that they went with other prospects. This was all to the benefit of the Nuggets, as they not only get a player that fills a need, but also might have one of the highest ceilings in this class, which is exactly what they need as a middle-tier team in the West. If Porter Jr. develops into the kind of player that he can be, then pairing him with Gary Harris, Jamal Murray, Paul Millsap, and Nikola Jokic would create one of the more intriguing starting 5s in the league, and one that could potentially begin to challenge for an upper-tier playoff spot in the West. Number 4, the Boston Celtics. Leading up to the draft, there were a ton of rumors surrounding the Celtics potentially moving into the top 5 to take a big man to round out their roster. Whether it was Mo Bamba or Jaren Jackson Jr. or whoever, I really thought Boston would move up to select a lottery caliber big, but it turns out they didn't have to. Robert Williams III ended up sliding out of the lottery, which wasn't that big of a surprise to me, but the fact that he went all the way down to 27 with the Celtics was an absolute shock. There were obviously a ton of bigs ahead of him in the draft rankings, but with his size, athleticism, and rim protection ability, I really expected him to be picked at least in the top 20. Fortunately for the Celtics, they ended up with a big man that's going to provide them with everything that they need without even needing to trade up or give up any assets. In the end, getting a lottery quality prospect this late in the draft would be a big win for any team, but in the case of the Celtics specifically, the rich just keep getting richer. And there you have it, those are my 4 biggest winners of the 2018 NBA draft. If you missed my last video, you can click here. If you'd like to see more videos just like this, you can click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.